Dear students, welcome to the online classes for computer science and for grade 12. This is chapter 2. The title of chapter 2 is File Handling in Python. Now we are talking about Python as a high level language. How do we handle files? How do we save our programs? The programs that we have written, we have taken our time, we have done the coding, but after writing a program and compiling it, that's all. It's not stored permanently, it's only temporary. So how can we store our files permanently? We are going to learn this in our chapter File Handling in Python. Then we're going to see the different types of files, how to use these files. Okay, so without delaying, let's begin. Introduction to files. Now we have so far created programs in Python that accept the input, manipulate it and display the output, isn't it? So we have written programs where we can fill in data, that is the input, then we can manipulate it, that is make changes in it, we compile it, or we can use an interpreter. Okay, we make changes, if there are errors we make the corrections, and then we get the output. But that output is available only during execution of the program, and the input is to be entered through the keyboard. Now when we have our shell interpreter, we type in the source code. Okay, we as the programmer, we type in the source code, and once we run the program, we get an output. Now that output is also temporary. As soon as we close the window or we close the software of the compiler, that output disappears. Okay, it's temporary, it disappears. And this happens because the variables used in a program have a lifetime that lasts till the program is under execution. Okay, that is the lifetime of the variables. That is all the different, if we have used operators, or we have used names, we have used keywords, okay, or maybe we have used things like mnemonic codes. Everything is temporary only till the program is under execution. That is when we are typing it, when we are interpreting it, or when we are compiling it, only till that time. Now if you want to store the data that were input as well as the generated output permanently, so that we can reuse it later, so that we can make use of it later on, how do we do that? Okay, now one important reason why we have to do it is to avoid repetition of tasks. Now for example, in a big company where we have a lot of employees and we are creating a database of all the information, a database that is a record of all the employees, okay, and we want to store that information permanently so that we don't have to keep on typing it again and again. Okay, so how do we do that? We store that data permanently on a secondary storage which can be reused again. Now in the same way, our Python programs can be stored permanently. For that, we have to store our Python programs written in script mode with a .py extension. Now remember, when we were learning about the interactive mode, the script mode and the interactive mode, we saw that in the script mode we first have to save our program with the Python extension, which is .py, isn't it, if you remember? And then we search for this file and then we run the file. So in this case, when we store this Python with this py extension, we store it on the secondary device as a file. Okay, and once it is stored as a file, it is stored permanently. So the simple logic behind this, when we want to make use of our data later on again, when we want to make use of our Python program later on, what we do is we save it with a py extension and we save it, okay, on the secondary device. That is where we store this file, and in this way it is permanently stored in a file. Now what is this file? A file is a named location on a secondary storage media where data are permanently stored for later access. Let's understand this definition. A file is a named location. Okay, we give it a name where it is stored, and then it's on the secondary storage where data is permanently stored for later access, that is for use later on. That is what a file is. Now let's quickly look at the different types of files. See here, text files contains only the ASCII equivalent of the contents of the file, whereas a docs file contains many additional information like the author's name, page settings, font type and size, date of creation and modification. Now this is the difference. We have a text file that is written. You know what is text? All this is text. Now it contains only the ASCII. We learned about the Unicodes and the ASCII, remember? So it contains the ASCII equivalent only. But if we have a .docs file, that is a document file, okay, that's in, for example, Microsoft Word file. It contains information like the author's name, that is who wrote the file, then the page settings, font type, font size, font color, the date of creation, that is when that file was created, and its modification, when it was updated. So this is one difference between the text file and the docs file. Now let's look at the types of files. Computers store every file as a collection of zeros and ones, that is in binary form. We know that the computer understands only one language, which is the binary in zeros and ones. So every file is stored in the binary form. Therefore, every file is basically just a series of bytes stored one after the other. We know bytes, which is one of the memory of units of memory. There are mainly two types of data files. So you see, we have two types, the text file and the binary file. These are the two types of data files that we have: text file, binary file. A text file consists of human readable characters which can be opened by any text editor. So you see, text file consists of human readable characters. For example, all what I am reading now is human readable character. I can understand it and I am reading it. And it can be opened by any text editor. Text editor, for example, Microsoft Word, Notepad, WordPad. Now on the other hand, binary files are made up of non-human readable characters and symbols, which require specific programs to access its contents. Non-human readable characters and symbols, the characters or the symbols or the writing which a human being cannot read. For example, if you have 5 zeros and 5 ones, till we don't convert it, we don't know what number it is. Okay, so it's not easily readable by human beings, and for it we need specific programs to open it, not just a text editor. Now let's look in detail about the text file. A text file can be understood as a sequence of characters consisting of alphabets, numbers and other special symbols. Files with extensions like .text, .py, .csv, etc. are some examples of text files. So a text file can be understood as a sequence of characters, okay? Characters के sequence हैं जिसमें alphabets होते हैं, numbers होते हैं, other special symbols भी होते हैं. And remember, it is easily readable by human beings. अब फाइल एक्सटेंशंस मतलब जब हम इसे सेव करते हैं तो इसके नाम के आगे, जिस नाम से हम फाइल सेव करते हैं, जैसे कि ग्रेड 12, सो उसके आगे जो लगता है उसे हम एक्सटेंशन कहते हैं. .text which is a word file, .py which is that is Python, then .csv which is an Excel file. ये सारी text file के examples हैं. Okay. Now when we open Notepad, this is Notepad. Let me show you here. This is how it looks like. Okay, it's a blue color icon and इस तरह से दिखता है. यहाँ ऊपर लिखा हुआ है Notepad. This is a window of Notepad. So we see several lines of text. However, the file contents are not stored in such a way internally. Now when you open a Microsoft Word file, for example, if I open this Microsoft Word file, just observe and see. If I open this file and I type here, okay, let's say I begin typing here, this I type here, this is my computer, this is my computer science class. Now the way you can see it here, this is not the way it is going to be stored in the computer. Okay, it will be stored in a different way. So this is what we are saying, that the file contents are not stored in such a way internally. Rather, they are stored in a sequence of bytes consisting of zeros and ones. So all this will be converted to zeros and ones because that is the language a computer understands. Okay. Now what happens is there's the ASCII and the Unicode or any other encoding scheme. The value of each character of the file of the text file is stored as bytes. Now for example, if I have 10, 11, 12, 13. We all know that if we convert this to hexadecimal, 10 is A, okay? So I have another A here, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D. So if I have a number like this, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, it is going to be AA, B, C, D. That is, if we are just writing these numbers separately, this is the conversion. So when we are going to write, we write it in the human readable character, and then it is converted to the computer readable characters, so that the computer will understand it only, and it is stored in bytes. That is, the size of a file will be given in bytes. Now, while opening a text file, the text editor translates each ASCII value and shows us the equivalent character that is readable by the human being. For example, the ASCII value 65, that is the binary equivalent of this, will be displayed by a text editor as the letter A, since the number 65 in ASCII character set represents A. Okay, this means this A that I have typed here, okay, it is not just an A. This A, when it is converted to decimal, it is equal to 65, okay, and when it is converted to binary, it is this. So in the computer it is stored as this in binary form, and when on the keyboard I click on an A, if I am typing and I click on A, it is quickly going to convert this value into 65 and 65 to A, and it is this A that I will see on the screen. Whenever you click on any alphabet of the keyboard, you will not see these numbers, neither these numbers. You will only see the character that you have clicked, because it is quickly converted. Okay. Each line of a text file is terminated by a special character called the end of line. EOL means end of line. For example, the default EOL character in Python is the new line. This has often come during our programs, \n, this means new line. Okay, that is the ending of a line. However, other characters can be used to indicate EOL. When a text editor or a program interpreter encounters the ASCII equivalent of the EOL character, it displays the remaining file content starting from a new line. Now this is simple, don't be confused. If I am typing a line, just a sentence for example, now the interpreter, that is when we are talking about Python, the interpreter we are using, after it converts this ASCII equivalent, the EOL, it starts displaying the contents remaining. That is to say, look at this line here. Okay, once it's ending here, I have 3 lines here, observe this. Now I put here \n. I put this here. Now what happens from here, if I click for output, if I click here output, if I run this program and I click for output, the program that will be displayed will start from here. Okay, this first line will not be displayed. It is going to start displaying after this end of line. Okay, after this EOL next of end of line, it is going to start showing the output from the second line. This is what we mean. Okay, so don't be confused. Contents in a text file are usually separated by white space, but comma and tab are also commonly used to separate values in a text file. So we have this text file here. What I am doing here is a text file. We can separate this here by giving white spaces in between. All the space here, this is called a white space here. And also we can separate it using comma. You all know this is the comma, we can use it, and we can also make use of tabs. Okay, So this is simply about the text file.